Alrighty, hello everybody, and this is why you should watch or read Delicious in Dungeon. Except I'm going to be calling it Dungeon Meshi the rest of the time, because I'm not going to be saying the English title or D&D the whole time. I hope you enjoy this, something a little different than what I normally do. Oh, you can see my mouse. So, to start off strong, one of my favorite things for Dungeon Meshi is the character designs. These pictures, the top ones are all from Ryoko Kyui's art book. They did a really cool study where they tried to take as many of their characters and just put them in really simplistic forms and see how recognizable they were in these simplistic styles. Obviously for the main anime and for the manga, they're a bit more detailed, but even within that anime and manga style, they're still very varied in character designs. Obviously, we have all the different races, we have all the different heights, and there are so many characters. I really love, this was a fantastic layout of so many of the characters and their heights, which I believe these are all official heights. I did some research on this, but this was something I put together for a friend's party, so it was basically pulling knowledge that I mostly already had, so I didn't do much further research beyond that. That was my cat. But I just love, again, how you can see just how many different types of characters there are, different races, the representation that you kind of get within these different character types. These are such varied bodies, and you just don't really see that often in a lot of anime and manga, so it's such a nice, refreshing thing to see, just such unique characters in anime and manga, just because there's all the copy and paste memes you see for anime and different characters, so that was the character design. These were really cool examples, I thought, of the different races. This is only a couple of them. There are more of these. I couldn't really collect or compile them all, but this was a really cool art study. Again, Ryoko Kui, she's got this really cool book of all of the different sketches and studies that she did while working on this, and these were just, she would select the different fantasy race and draw a bunch of characters, some from the manga, some completely made up, but just to kind of show how varied these races could look with it, but still also comparatively to the other races, but so you can see some similarities in the race. Obviously, the elves have the pointed ears, the dwarves have the rounded ears, then we have the orcs, which I just love the orcs. I feel like they are such a nice varied race because they're so standout compared to just some of the more quote-unquote human races, because they have the snouts and they have usually more distinct features. It's pretty clear to tell which ones are the anime characters, in my opinion, when you're looking at some of these charts, but I still think it's really cool. You could tell they were kind of just having fun with it, but then still putting their actual manga characters in there. As well, for the character studies, this is again just something I thought was really cool that they did, where they took just individual characters and then said, well, what if that character was a different race? Just the amount of studying and art that went into this series as a whole is just so, again, it's just so much world building and character building. Everything is just layers upon layers, and I just, if you like characters and character design, Dungeon Meshi is the way to go, because maybe you think like this character, but you think they look cool as a human. Okay, they probably are as drawn as a human at somewhere in the art book, or you want them as an elf, because everyone's a pretty girl as an elf. So I really, really like this. Moving on, though, for characters, the actual main characters in the cast, we have to start with Laios. Now, I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler light as possible. I promise there might be some spoilery things, but I did try to keep them as vague as possible. So even though some things maybe are from later panels, hopefully there's not enough context to spoil them in there for you guys. I promise. I did try my best for this. And no one put anything in the comments if you watch this as a fan, okay? Thank you. Probably should have said at the beginning, but here we are. I didn't write a script for this. Too bad. But first is Laios, the main character. He is such a fantastic main character. Maybe he's autistic with some question marks? Well, I don't think it's been officially confirmed, and the actual artist has said, like, no, I didn't make him autistic, but I think she was like, yeah, but it's fine if you think that. But she has written other, like a little short manga that was about autism, so even though I don't think it was maybe all, like, fully intentional, there's a lot of subconscious things that I could see that maybe got written in that make him seem where he is like an autistic character where people relate to him. I put him down here as stupid, but not, because he does a lot of stupid things. But that he's not stupid, a pretty common thing for a lot of like shonen main characters, honestly, where they do a lot of stupid stuff, but then they do something really smart, so it's like, okay, who cares? He's a really good unintentional leader. In fact, his group doesn't really rate him highly as a leader, but he is unintentionally a good leader because he helps push them along, and he's good with monsters, but he's maybe not great with working with other people. So there's kind of some things where like he is really good at like knowing everything about his friends, but then he doesn't know how to talk to them, so they think he's a weirdo. And I think everyone can kind of relate to that a little bit. He loves monsters, like a lot, a little bit too much. And again, touching on that bit of like the tism, how much are we like these monsters? Special interest, or they just think they're kind of cool? It's special interest. He loves eating monsters. One of his main motivations in the story is that he wants to go and eat different monsters and try them and see how they taste and cook them and all that other stuff. So he's really in the dungeon because, well, he does want to save his sister, but he also wants to try and eat monsters, and eating monsters is a way of getting down into the dungeon without spending as much money. So it works for him. Next into the pot we have Marcille. She is a girl boss and a girl failure. She goes back and forth between like being the absolute most bad boss bitch behavior to whining, crying, screaming on the floor, girl failure. We love the duality of a woman. She is a much more complex character than you might think, even though she looks like really cutesy. She's got her bows and her ribbons. She's kind of fashionable, so to speak, for a dungeon world. She studies the dark arts, and it's really cool and really badass. And she high-key carries the team. There's, I believe, more than once where she is the last stand for the group, and everybody kind of knows that she is one of the most powerful because she is a healer and she is offense. She does a lot of heavy lifting for the power of this group. Not that everybody in the team isn't important, but she is for sure the powerhouse of the group. And next in the pot, here we go. It's Chilchuck. He is literally a father of three. Put all your prejudices aside, he is not a small child. He is a half-foot. And again, the only one of this group to have children. None of the others have children. None of them. It's crazy to think that he has had a wife and he has had 3 kids. Yeah, I don't know how half-foot pregnancies work, but let's not think too much about it. He is also the dad of the group, literally and figuratively, because again, like we said, he's got children, but he also is just very level-headed and disappointed in the group, but still weirdly a fatherly figure. Won't say more. He's a union man to the point where people don't like him because he is a union man. Low-key, he's here on this journey just because he was paid. But he's not really. He's kind of tsundere about it because, he wants to say that he's here just because he's got paid, but he kind of wants to be there because to help them. And he's got a relationship with them. They're his friends and so on. And we also love Short King Rap. Short King Rap. Speaking of Short King Rap, the next in the pot is Senshi. Short King Rap Part 2. 2 Short Kings in one series is crazy. He is the mom of the group. So we have a mom and we have a dad. Honestly, I thought about this later, but the main characters are kind of like the standard household dynamic where you've got the son, the daughter, the father, and the mother, and then the cat. It's kind of weird. Anyways, he loves to cook and eat doesn't really mind that it's monsters. He's just more so concerned about the cooking and the eating and like the nourishment of it all. He is the eye candy of the group. We'll elaborate that on a few moments here. Bread, 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 bread. I don't think I need to say any more. Thank you. As I mentioned, eye candy. Senshi has all of the panty shots in Dungeon Meshi. I don't think there's any other characters that get panty shots like he does. Also, special bonus, some of the anime exclusive panty shots that were made just for us because the people at Trigger understood what we were looking for. He is the front fan service girl to protect the actual girls of the series, and we love that because he is the mother. He is mothering. He is protecting all the girls. There's duality to this man. Again, I won't say more because I am trying to keep this as spoilery free as I can. Some of these pictures may be considered spoilers if you really know some of the stuff, but I won't say what the spoiler is. A beautiful man of many forms. We love that. Continuing on to other favorite characters, we have Izutsumi. She is cat, kitty, cat. Cat, kitty, cat, kitty, cat, cat, cat. One of the truest cat girl representations, like genuinely acts like a cat and more than one ways, not just because she is cutesy and has cat ears and tail. She is mean, picky, rude. She's also an angsty teen, which ties in with some of the cat stuff very nicely. She has layers. Izutsumi is a character that's complex for me because while she maybe isn't my favorite character, I do like a lot of the things that is written about her. She's a wonderful foil for a lot of the main four characters. So she's a multi-tool foil. And she's just introduced at a perfect time to create a sort of imbalance and balance to the main four party, which I just really love. And she's a ninja warrior. Who doesn't love ninja warriors? I mean, yeah. What more can you say? And as I mentioned, she is cat, kitty, cat. Catty, kitty, cat, 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 cat. These are the pictures that I love for showing how she's a cat, kitty, cat. I mean, this one was a little bit biased because of where she was. It made her more cat-like. But even still, just normal day-to-day, like getting brushed. This is an official ranking she has of all the characters that she knows and her sleeping with them, whether she likes them or not. And some notes, which again, very accurate for kitty cat. She even sleeps like a kitty cat. Look at her rolled up like a little kitty cat. So cute. She would hate this though. Next up, Falling. She's a bit of an odd character because it's like she's barely there, but she is very important. Big chicken, hot. I don't think I need to say any more on that. But as I mentioned, even though she's barely there, she's also like the only reason the story exists. If Falling didn't have what happens to her and wasn't involved in this story, it just wouldn't happen. She is the main motivation for this story. She is maybe Dungeon Meshi Jesus. I can't go into that without saying spoilers, but just a little a little nugget for you to think about. This story is a lot about people coming back to life more than once. It's not even just her, but she does it a bit much. So, Dungeon Meshi Jesus? She's Marciel's wife. Love that. We love a wifey. And if you liked Laios, you will probably like Falling. She's just Laios but a woman because they're siblings. They are a wonderful, fantastic sibling dynamic duo, and I love how their sibling relationship is shown. It's great. It's well written. As I mentioned, Marciel's wife, we love gay women. It's Yuri with a question mark though, because it's some of this isn't really like these are officially there, but they're not officially gay. But if not officially gay, Your Honor, why this? Why is this here? Why was this here? I don't know. This is a little sus. Look at these official figures where they're holding hands. More than one official figure where they're holding hands. I don't know, Your Honor. That seems pretty gay to me. And also important is booba bouncing. Booba bouncing, yes. What am I doing? Food! You can't talk about Dungeon Meshi without talking about the food. The food is very, very important. But when you talk about the food, the other important thing to talk about is the monsters, because they are so deeply intertwined, because they are literally, the food is made of monsters. Crazy, I know. I mean, they go into all the in depth in the actual show manga itself, but every item they eat is made of one monster, multiple monsters. They carry this food around with them. They'll use it on more than one occasion. It's very, what's the scavenger like almost? I mean, these are like truly adventurers using what they have and utilizing it to its fullest. So interesting things. We got like slime. We got the scorpion turned into this like hot pot noodle soup thing. They use the scorpion meat. The slime turns into noodles. Oh, we got the jewelry. The jewelry bugs things. There's actual names for these. I should have written these down, but you guys, look, I'm a busy woman. That's used in more than one dish. When like we've used ghosts as freezing tools. We have so much dragon meat. Like, I mean, smorgasbord meat size, you know? And as well, because I do love the monsters, I think there are monsters in this series that are like done really well, because they're not just monsters for the sake of monsters. A lot of these monsters have actual biology written into them. I think that's the word I'm looking for. But for example, the jewelry, I mean, it has the bugs. There's a female version, there's a male version for the coins. The slime is a living creature as well. It actually has intestines that are like aren't visible to the eye because it's just slime, but it's there. They even go into depth with how like the dragon's fire system works. It's very interesting. They do this for more than one. Because I like the food and monsters, I included a second page, but one of my other favorite ones I really like is the mimic, where it's not just like a chest that is alive with a tongue and teeth. It's like a hermit crab where there's this big monster crab that lives inside and you have to kill it, you know? And then the hermit crab eats the jewelry monsters. I know there's a name that I'm looking for, but my brain is losing it right now. But you know, he eats the coins or the coins eat him. It's kind of like a back and forth, because this is all about like how the dungeon environment works and these creatures inside of it, which is just very cool. If you're kind of nerdy in that sense, where you just like world building, again, there's so much here. There's so much here. I also really love the living armor. I don't want to ruin the surprise on this one, because one of Laios's main goals is to eat the living armor. They do find a way to do it, but that was one of my initial draw-ins for this, was when I saw the living armor and they actually found a way to use it. And it wasn't just like, oh, well, we got some metal. What are we doing with metal? No, they created creatures out of this. And this is the only non-official art that I have in here, but I thought this was a wonderful art piece that someone made of all the different foods. You can see there's so many, because this isn't even all of them. There's a page 2. I'm going to look up the artist and tag that on here once I finish the video, but thank you to them. This was a wonderful chart with all the different foods. Very cool, because again, there's just so much. It's Dungeon Meshi, it's dungeon food, come on. The show was silly goofy. These are some silly goofy panels. Feel free to pause and look at them, and if any of them speak to you a certain way. The one I will call out, because it's the reason why I started reading it, and it's my friend's favorite, who also was the one that got me to read it. They Let Me Milk a Minotaur. This is so... If this isn't tickling your brain, maybe, I don't know, something else will, but this was what tickled my brain to go, I need to read this. I need to read it right now. And I did. Silly Goofy from the anime. Because there's silly goofy in different forms. I think some things are funnier in the anime. I think some things are funnier in the manga, especially when I'm putting them in PowerPoint mode. So, but still, good moments on either one. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to keep this spoiler light. Some of these things might be quote-unquote spoilery, but I will not give context to them, so that way you can enjoy them when you do actually get to that moment. If you do decide to pick up this series, if my video is the one that convinced you, that's crazy. But thank you. The story, though, has some of the best world building. I touched on it a little bit earlier, but genuinely, so much world building. If you want to get lost in the sauce of official stuff, there is so much world building. Everything builds on itself. if you think, oh, well, how did this happen? The artist may have already thought of that. Maybe not in all cases, but a lot of stuff, it was fully thought out. It's a really good gradual storytelling. One thing I will say for a lot of people that I have talked to and they picked it up and they maybe weren't as interested at the beginning, which I think is fair. While I enjoyed it from the get-go, this is a story that slowly builds upon itself. So if you're someone and you're watching the beginning and it's a little bit more lighthearted, it's a little bit more comedy based, there's some of the like food eating stuff, but you're kind of maybe just not fully into that. Everything that you're watching matters. You may not think it in the moment, but everything that they're talking about is going to be brought up eventually at some point. Those first initial episodes are some small gradual things to build you into the world, to build you in the idea of, oh, hey, we're going to eat monsters. Hey, here's like some of these basic things for our characters. But more importantly, here's some little building blocks for the dungeon, because the dungeon is constantly being built upon on every chapter, every episode, that just grow and grow and grow until you get into the final portion of the series. And again, you start to see some of those old themes come back up. I hate being the person to say, oh, well, if you don't like the first episode, well, just watch to episode 10. I do think maybe if you're not initially interested, maybe ease off a bit of it. If some of this other stuff I showed you earlier is interesting to you, just know that that does come about eventually. But you know, I just hate people that say, oh, watch the first 24 episodes, and if you don't like it, then maybe you won't like it. This is me just rambling. I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry. For those who are new here, maybe just know that I'm really bad at that. It's a common theme. The series has a fantastic big or bad. I'm, again, not gonna go too far into that, but there is more than one person creature that is put as the big bad of the time, or the big villain, and then there is another one that comes around that. So as I mentioned, the gradual storytelling, you kind of keep seeing a new villain that still ties into those previous ones, so it's very nicely done. And the most important thing, an actual good proper ending. Hey, are you someone who is tired of some of these series having mediocre endings, bad endings, no endings, whatever fits the bill, okay? Guess what? This has a good ending. As I mentioned, everything ties together, everything matters. I keep like having like a random lisp come up. Anyways, your sitting and watching is paid off. And not to mention, even once the story ended, once the anime came out, they even released a couple bonus chapters to just kind of give you a little bit more after the official story ending. So if you were still like, oh, but I still want more, well, guess what? You kind of end up getting that just by chance. But it did still have a proper final ending. I cannot stress that enough. I've been getting tired of some of these shows getting rushed endings, unfinished endings. I didn't like Jujutsu Kaisen's ending. It was dragged out, and the ending itself felt like really rushed in the last portion. It was, ugh. I heard a lot of people complain about Chainsaw Man, where I'm scared to pick it up now, but I will eventually. Not anime, but Stranger Things ending was boo bad. I liked Owl House, had a rushed ending. I liked, what's another random one that I have? OKKO, that's so random, but it had a rushed ending. I'm tired of these series getting rushed endings. That's not the case here. I will stop talking and stop rambling now. I mentioned the world building. These are some pictures that I think are just a great example of what I mean when I say that there is so much world building. These are all bonus content. I believe these were in the official art book. They were in some official art book though. They were made by the artist. Just examining and exploring the characters' rooms, their homes, where they stay. None of these are actually in the manga or the anime, minus maybe Senshi's room kind of is brought up, but they aren't really there. These were just to expand upon the characters' stories and how they live, why you can see why they act the way they do. You can even peek a little bit into their lives as well. You can see there's paragraphs on each of them. There is even more world building beyond this, but this is just one of my favorite examples of both a tie-in for character building and world building. Just absolutely nutty. Some other cool parts, because if you like something a little bit more serious, you got a little worn out from the cutesy fun stuff at the beginning. Again, I'm not going to say what these things are. Some of these are misleading spoilers, I believe, at least. So take it what you will. Some other cool ass, sick ass shit that has no context. So you just can know that something sick as hell shows up later. Ooh. And if you do like the fun, silly, goofy stuff, here's some fun official art. These are all official, you guys. I wanted to really include like actual, just like official stuff, because even though we all love good fan art and love good fan fun, having just as much official fun art just feels so good, because it feels like when you love a series, it's nice to see when the creators also love the series as much as you do. Oh, you want to see the character's gender bent? Guess what? So did the artist. There's a mini chapter that has them gender bent. Oh, you want to see them in Halloween outfits? They did too. Beach outfits? Yeah, they did too. They couldn't fit it in their real one, but so they just do these cute outfits. Casual outfits. More beach outfits. How they would interact with dogs. How they would dance. There is so much, you guys, for this. There is so much fun official art. And that is going to bring us to the end. I really appreciate anybody who watched this. If you enjoyed this and you want more of me for some reason, maybe check out I live streamed this creation of when I was making this. So if there's some more tidbits and things I was just throwing out while creating these, but I didn't include everything because this is already way too long. Sorry. And there's a lot of other content I have. I have figure reviews of some of the Dungeon Meshi figures because I love figures and I love Dungeon Meshi. And I have lots of other content you can check out as well. There's lots of things. You can follow me down below. There's Discord, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's something else that I'm forgetting, but there's other stuff you guys can read. Yeah, I really, again, truly appreciate anybody who watched this. This is not my normal content, but because I made the slideshow, I thought this would be a fun, different thing to do. You know, everyone gets to make their own little video essay at some point and put it on YouTube. That's way too long, but then people enjoy watching long, hour-long video essays. I'm one of them, so, you know, I just thought I would give it a shot, see how it goes. Like, not usually PowerPoints though. Usually people put a bit more editing, but I don't have that kind of time. Okay? I hope you guys all had a great last couple days. I hope you guys all have a great next couple days. I will see you next time. Eggs on, eggs on, eggs on. Eggs on your faces. I freaking got you guys. I got you guys. At the end of my Dungeon Meshi video, I got you guys. Have a good night, everybody. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Thank you.